There we go. I hit the mic button this time. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's doing good today. Welcome to Yo, You Like That, the talk show where I, your host, Zarataro, brings on awesome guests from the VTubing community. We talk about amazing things, things they like, things they enjoy, wonderful things that you should know about. And if you don't, guess what? Education time, bitches! It's been a long time. I've had a little bit of a break. The show was on its off season. If John Oliver can do it, then I can do it too. That's the rule. Let's go ahead and bring our guest on. Get on over here, GeminiHero.
So I'll drag myself on over. All right. Hello. Wow. Hi out there, everybody. It's 2 times the hamster for 2 times the enjoyment.
Times the hamster. Holy shit. Look at that. We're celebrating. We're starting off strong. Thank you so much for coming onto the show. It's a pleasure to have you. Please introduce yourself. Tell the guests what you got going.
Thank you so much for having me, Zara. My name is GeminiHero. I'm a variety streamer, ham tuber, and sometimes game modder, actually. I've been endeavoring more into that. I have Kingdom Hearts 2 mods, as well as now Smash Melee mods I've been working on, and some other stuff that I want to put under my belt, like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Let's go!
So yeah, it's been a lot of fun learning all this different stuff, right? Everything from animating to writing to some model and texture work. It's been a lot that I've learned, but it's been a lot of fun. So that's mainly what I've been doing.
You're doing God's work. You're doing God's work with that stuff.
Honestly, it's yeah, it's a lot of fun, but it's also like a lot going on with that. So I've been hoping to get back into work. I've also been taking a break, not just you, Sarah. So hopefully it's gonna be me getting back into this as well soon.
Yeah, well, awesome. Well, let's go ahead and bring up the topic you picked, which I thought was super fun because we haven't really done one like this before. You're talking about your best boy up here, Raichu.
Yeah, that's right. This is an interesting one. I felt a little bit like I wasn't sure because I know that the show is mostly about like, you know, you kind of have a movie or a game or a show, sometimes maybe even like a franchise. But you know, a specific character or like a specific subsection of character in terms of Pokemon was like kind of a little bit of an off pick, but hopefully I'll be able to justify why this is worth spending an hour talk show on, because I think there's a lot interesting going on here.
I had a lot of faith when you asked if you could do it. I'm like, you know what? He wouldn't have asked unless he knew. So I am down to clown with this. I love Pokemon. And I love how people like have their own like favorite Pokemon and how it kind of like relates to them, and you know, just all the different things they like want to do with it. Raichu's a cool big boy, and he's got a lot of lore because his little brother's the star of the show. How does it feel being the older one that's not quite on the spotlight?
Yeah, like that is honestly like a big part of the focus here, right? Is that there's that like sort of innate almost underdog aspect to Raichu when you think about him for more than 5 seconds, because like I talk about this, so like I had a thing recently. Raichu Day was like a month ago. It was like February 6th, because number is 26 in the Pokédex entry, so a lot of Twitter artists celebrate the holiday. Yeah, so like I do something new for Raichu Day each year. I try to do something creative that's different and involves him. This year I did like a big presentation on the character's history and stuff like that. So all this stuff is fresh in my mind still to some degree. But I mentioned this, like if anyone ever wants more detail on anything I'm going to talk about now, you can go watch that on my my Twitch channel. It's like it's a couple hours of a VOD, and I go over the whole thing. But to sum it up very quickly, like when I was a kid, I watched Pokemon the anime growing up, right? Like as it was coming out weekly. So when I was like 6 or 7, I saw that first episode where Pikachu and Raichu had the match in the Vermilion Gym, right, with Lieutenant Surge and the Dungavolts. Yeah, that's a fan favorite for a lot of kids who grew up watching that one, because it was like this big dramatic rival episode between Pikachu and Raichu. It was like a sort of character episode, right?
It's also the first badge that Ash actually earns.
That's true. That is very true. Yeah, I forget what nonsense he used to get Misty's badge, but he used the sprinklers to get Brock's badge.
Yes.
And he might have gone out of order, because I don't remember if he got the one with Vileplume where Team Rocket burned the gym down before or after Surge, but either way, yeah, he didn't earn that one either. So this was the first one he actually won in a fight. And it's a really cool episode. Like back when I was a kid, Pikachu was my favorite, right? Like I really liked Pikachu a lot because I was the youngest brother, believe it or not, right? I have 2 brothers older than me, 5 years, 7 years. So I see an episode like that about Pikachu standing up to the big guy bullying him, and I'm like, yeah, you get him. uh, it was great. In hindsight, I also realized something cool about that episode is that it was there to teach kids about game mechanics, right? Because like the way Ash wins that fight is by having his Pikachu move faster, right? But he uses the move agility because Surge evolved Pikachu into Raichu immediately, which means he didn't get a chance to teach it agility yet. So Pikachu used agility to go faster than him, and that's how he wins the fight.
I never actually thought about that. Holy crap.
That's the thing. Nobody does. I think Ash even says like agility at some point. And nobody remembers that. I don't remember it. None of the kids I talked to remember it. But yeah, I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, why is Pikachu faster than Raichu in the show? Isn't it the other way around? Don't their speed stats are like different?" Yeah, it was an episode about not evolving your Pokemon until you teach them the right moves, and I guess it flew right past everyone's head.
A more modern episode would give Raichu a slow EV.
It's funny you should mention that. But like, yeah, so I was a fan of Pikachu in that episode, and then flash forward at some point because like. Raichu doesn't really get a whole lot, right? Like, he had a spot in Pikachu's vacation after that, and then it's just a huge time gap. We're talking, like, 10 years, generations 2, 3, and 4, there's, like, nothing. Until Gen 4 happens.
Diamond Pearl, yes, I know what you're going to talk about.
Oh, do you know about this episode, too?
I know about this episode.
This is a lesser-known piece of Raichu trivia. I mean, there were a couple episodes between now and then, but I'm gonna go through the main plot line here. So yeah, Pika and Goliath was a Sinnoh episode that aired, which had this like obnoxious dude who talked like a hip teen from like the early 2000s and or late 90s. He said yo a lot. But yeah, he had a Raichu, and they do basically the exact same thing as in
the exact same thing,
like the exact same episode, beat for beat, note for note. It's a little like they do it in new ways, right? Because like the thing that beat Pikachu in the Surge episode is like, oh, he just got thunder shocked and he fell over. In Pika and Goliath, Raichu pins Pikachu to a rock using his tail, and then point blank hyper beams him in the face.
Jesus.
It is hardcore. Like, it's kind of cool, but it's like also, oh my god, damn, we thought about this. I think they tried to like, maybe they felt self-conscious following that episode up because they tried to make it as hardcore as possible. Like, not only does that happen, but the very next scene is Pikachu in the hospital, like, dying on the table of some kind of heart condition.
I never understand why Pikachu always has to be like taken into heart surgery every time he gets beat up. It's like
it's so dramatic.
Like Nurse got to plug him up to all the EKG things, and it's like just give him a hyper potion, give him a full restore. What's the problem here, everyone?
What are we doing? Pikachu won't get in the Pokeball, so we can't put him in the machine. So I guess we just gotta do it manually.
just dunk him in the juice. Just have like a bathtub full of full restore. You just dunk the stubborn ones in.
Yeah, exactly. Just have those like weird tanks that they put Mewtwo in the first movie or whatever.
Oh yeah, freaking Goku's there next to Pikachu in the tank.
I was just about to say it's like the Saiyan restoration tank. Holy, oh my god. Yeah, but like in Electric Shock Showdown, it's like, oh, he's in the hospital. He's got some bandages on. In this episode, like there's this whole scene where Nurse Joy has to defibrillate Pikachu because he's dying on the table. Like it's really overdramatic, melodramatic. But like aside from that, the episode plays out the same way, right? Pikachu's like, Ash is like, oh, I got a Thunderstone. Do you want to evolve? And Pikachu's like, no, I'm gonna beat him like I am. So then they get back, except like in the first episode where it was like, oh, it was like a clever thing about how Raichu evolved too soon and you know whatever. In this one, Pikachu just like learns how to spin. Like he learns how to spin for some reason. I don't know what that has to do with getting shot in the face with a hyper beam, but no, whatever. Yeah. So he learns how to spin.
Spin to win.
I think like I've rewatched that episode enough times now where like I finally maybe see where they're coming from. Like in the first match, he didn't have the power to really like hit Raichu, so I guess his idea is like, oh well, if you use the force of like spinning really fast, then you could do damage. It's like, all right. I mean, okay. It's just weird, right? It's not something that's intuitive, I guess, to the viewer.
It like a maybe a way to power up Iron Tail? Was it an Iron Tail?
Yeah. That's what finishes the match at the end, is that Pikachu does like a really high spinning Iron Tail. Like basically, it's Nair from Smash, right?
Yeah.
And that beats Raichu because Nair is known for doing a lot of knockout damage. But you know.
Getting PTSD here.
I guess this is Brawl Nair specifically. If you started playing an Ultimate, that sentence just confused you because he has like a weird multi-hitting electric Nair now. But yeah, whatever, it's fine. Don't worry about it. My point is, that yeah, so they basically just repeat the episode, and then things go silent for a while after that. And like, I think I was in college when I watched that episode. Like, I was a little kid when I was watching Electric Shock Showdown. I was in college when I saw Pika and Goliath. I remember feeling kind of ripped off because I thought something different was gonna happen.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, me too. Like, I didn't think Pichu was gonna like evolve, but I just thought that he would have just lost again, and this would have been like, okay, well, you know, sometimes you just gotta keep fighting.
Yeah, like maybe a different lesson, right? Yeah, like maybe some kind of way of pushing the message forward. No, it really is just like they picked the episode up out of the garbage bin and dusted it off, and they were like, people liked this one, right? Like, this was a popular one. Let's just do that again. It feels like Sinnoh had a lot of like sometimes lazier copy-paste content, but credit where it's due. Raichu had like 3 or 4 episodes in Sinnoh. He had like 2 to maybe 3 in Kanto, and then there's like nothing in any of the other ones.
No, black and white, nothing.
Nothing in black and white, nope. Back when, or well, yeah, like some time passes after that, and like I have to just like convey this to you because I think my liking of Raichu was like a really slow burn kind of thing, right? Because it really does take a slow burn. In the first generations, it's like, okay, he's clearly positioned as like a rival for Pikachu, like the bigger bully kind of guy, right? But then as things go on, it's like, okay, you know, he's not showing up anymore. And Pikachu's getting like a ton of attention, and there's all sorts of games like Pokemon Yellow where you can't even evolve him. He's like noticeably absent from every side game. And then, yeah, Gen 4 stuff like Pika and Goliath happens, and you're like, you know, I don't know if this underdog angle suits Pikachu that well anymore. Raichu's been in like 5 episodes out of the 540 we've done, you know? Like, it feels a little weird now, right? And then more stuff happens after that, and, yeah, that's around, I think Sun and Moon is around when I really started paying attention to this weird little meta-narrative that was going on in the background of Pokemon as a franchise. Where like Alolan Raichu shows up, right?
Yes.
So Alolan Raichu is cool. I want to give I want to immediately say for all the fans in chat that I do not hate Alolan Raichu.
I like him a lot, but I have one question.
Please.
In Orange Islands, when there was like the old like blind the old surfing Pikachu that was going blind, like his eyes were glassing over, like what did that guy just never think about going to Aloha or just to see if he wanted his like Pikachu to evolve, or was that Pikachu just like, nah man, I just want to surf the waves my own way?
It's so interesting because I can almost guarantee you, like, there's a lot of people who tell me sometimes, like, oh, well, the anime doesn't really matter because the anime is not connected to the games or whatever. But, like, the anime has, like, this huge influence on everything that happens even in the games. That, I guarantee you, that episode with that serving Pikachu, he's got the same, like, blue eyes, yeah. Like, if he evolved, then he would have turned into Alolan Raichu, and I guarantee you that serving Pikachu episode inspired Alolan Raichu as he exists today. Like,
oh,
I
believe
guarantee
it. I believe it. I will never forget that episode. That and the Crystal Onyx.
Yeah,
Orange Islands is just one of those like guilty pleasures for me. I'm sorry.
Orange Islands was built different. There was, I think, actually, there was a Raichu episode in Orange Islands, but it was like an episode where they visited like a showboat. And they were like like the Pokemon actors or whatever.
Okay, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, that was an interesting episode. But you know, not necessarily related. Well, it kind of is because like, what I discovered going back through these things is, first of all, there's only like 8 Raichu episodes at all. Like, let me just make that clear. In the whole like 1,200 and something anime episodes that exist, there's like 8 Raichu episodes.
The Journeys episode got like a week's worth of news articles being made about it beforehand.
That's true, yeah. Well, there were 2 Journeys episodes, probably. I think I know the one you're talking about that got the news articles, because it is the clickbait of Pokemon, and they've gone back to this well like 3 times.
Yeah, it's so clickbait.
It's so funny. But yeah, like when you pay attention to the meta narrative in the background, you start seeing little patterns. Like you can start seeing them try to kind of rehabilitate. Like Raichu is a Pokemon I think they have tried to re-present to the fan community like at least a half dozen times to try and get something to catch on, to try and get him to be popular, so that they don't have to worry about having this like hanging Chad near Pikachu, basically. but they could never figure it out. Like in episodes like the Showboat episode and stuff, they present this like really like softer, sympathetic side to Raichu because that one had like social anxiety, and it was a really cute episode. But you know, that kind of thing never really took off either. And then they have the the more battle focused action episodes, and we only ever get one of those every decade or so. Those never seem to take off, so they just had no idea what to do with them. And then they're like, screw it, we're just starting over. We're just gonna make a Alolan Raichu, we're just gonna start over. Like, that sounds a little cynical at first, but like when you start following the receipts, so like Smash Ultimate, real quick. I have to just, like go through this in a certain order. I'm gonna lose my mind. In Smash Ultimate, they have like a picture they put out on the dojo, right? Alolan Raichu's a Pokeball Pokemon in that game. For those of you who don't know. And Raichu has never appeared in any form in Smash Brothers at all before. Like, not even as a trophy, not in Melee, not in Brawl, like, never. Not as a sticker. So
no stickers for y'all.
Yeah, no stickers. No, not even as a spirit. But I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, Alolan Raichu got put in as Pokeball Pokemon in Ultimate. And they have a screenshot that they put out for the dojo around when that got announced. That's just like a family photo of Pichu, Pikachu, and then Alolan Raichu in the middle. It is like so sad.
Damn.
Like, imagine growing up as a fan of this character for 20-something years, and then you see the Pancake Rat has literally replaced him in the one place you wanted to see him for a while. It's wild, right? It's not just that either, right? There were a lot of other examples, like Alolan Raichu's in New Pokemon Snap, but Raichu isn't. Alolan Raichu got into Pokemon Masters EX before regular Raichu. There are several other examples. By the way, Pokemon Masters EX is really funny. Have you played it at all, Sarah?
I played Pokemon Master Sex before it was Master Sex. I played it when it was just Pokemon Masters.
You know, I just didn't want to be the first person to say.
And I got all the way to where you're doing just like every chapter is like a fight. And then the power scaling defeated me.
Yeah, honestly, I did enjoy what I played of EX. Although, yeah, the power scaling, it's a mobile game through and through, and there's just a bit of that you have to get used to. And honestly, like, I kind of bounced off it once I realized the power scaling was all over the place, and I just couldn't find my footing to get like a good gameplay loop in. But, yeah, when Pokemon Masters released, I mean, first of all, you could get a Pikachu on launch. Guess how you evolve it? Time's up. You can't. No evolutions of your starters. Nice try. Nice try.
Denied.
But here's the thing, right? I mean, Masters was like marketed on the back of like, oh, you can play as the gym leaders, and they're like iconic partners. So you got like Misty and Starmie, or like Brock and Onyx, and then you have Surge and Voltorb.
Yeah. Like
They put
not
Voltorb in.
like not even Electabuzz or Magnemite. No. Voltorb.
Because in his original gym battle, Voltorb is the Pokemon he technically sends out first. But there's only one Pokemon on Surge, like that's on every one of Surge's teams in every game he's been in, and it's Raichu. Raichu's always on his team somewhere. Voltorb is not. Electrode isn't. Electabuzz isn't. Magneton isn't. But Raichu always is. But they gave him Voltorb, which I have to imagine was some kind of purposeful slight.
He's only a 3-star, so he can't have a good Pokemon. We gotta save We gotta save Raichu for the 5-star people.
They did like credit where it's due. It took them some time, and it was into Masters EX. But yeah, Surge did eventually get his Raichu, and I think they've even recently introduced Volkner and Raichu as another duo pair, which is pretty cool. But yeah, during this period of like this Alola Gen 7 thing, like Raichu didn't get shit. Unite came out. Pikachu is the only Pokemon in that game that doesn't evolve. You know, it's on purpose. It's very on purpose.
There should be an option, like when they made Scissor, like it was the smartest thing because like, oh, you could either stay Scyther or you can go Scissor.
Yeah, that's. I mean, like either that or the most marketable thing to me would be make a second Pikachu all-rounder that evolves into Raichu and make him more physical based, right? Just give him physical attacks like Thunder Punch and Volt Tackle and stuff, right?
Yeah! See, it writes itself.
That makes sense to me, but, you know, they never did it. And before anyone said, well, you can't have two of the same Pokemon in the game, they have like 7 EVs in the game right now, so it's clearly not something they care about.
There is 2 Mewtwo. There is a Mewtwo X and a Mewtwo Y. They are separate characters.
Yep. There sure are, but no, yeah, yeah, so Raichu just couldn't catch a break for a very long time. Like, anything that he could have been in, either Alolan Raichu takes his spot. Right, the Smash Spirits thing before I move on, there's 1,500 spirits in that game. including Roger the Potted Ghost from Yoshi's Island, and the Nightmare Orb from Kirby's Adventure, and not one of them is Raichu.
Not one.
Not even a single one.
There's more Fire Emblem spirits from games we never got, and no Raichu.
That is correct. Yes, OG Raichu has never to this day appeared in Smash at all. When I was still playing Ultimate, I was on some cope. I was like, okay, if it doesn't have a spirit yet, that means they're saving him for DLC. There's no fucking way, man. There ain't no way. Yeah, but Sora, Minecraft, Steve, nah, man. I'm gonna put in Raichu as an Echo Fighter. Yeah, that's gonna happen. So, all of this is to say, right, we're almost done with my brief history recap. In Journeys, we have the capper to the Surge and Pikachu, or the Raichu-Pikachu rivalry thing, right? So, if you're keeping track, Electric Shock Showdown aired 23 years ago, then Pika and Goliath aired 12 years ago. So, the 10-year gap, 12-year gap, then we finally have Destination Coronation, where Ash and Pikachu basically do a rematch at Vermilion Gym. Surge isn't there, but his like adjutant is, right? Like someone taking over for the gym for him is. Visquez and her Raichu, who was apparently personally trained by Surge. They make a point of saying that. So they do one last Pikachu versus Raichu fight. And it lasts like under 2 minutes. And then Raichu gets bodied by Gengar. And that's about it. But what if I told you that is like this is the coolest episode in terms of like this is what actually brought my like passion back to make me like a big Raichu fan instead of somebody who's just like in the sidelines like, oh, okay, he's cool. What if I told you this was the shit?
The moment?
That's right, because it's like less than a 2-minute fight, but every single thing they do in the fight is like callbacks to beats from that like mini meta narrative that we've had going for the last like 20-something years. The first thing Pikachu does is he does that tail stand move from Electric Shock Showdown that he used to dodge the Thunderbolt, right?
Mm-hmm.
To like block Raichu's Volt Tackle. But Raichu like lifts him up off the ground, and like tackles him into the ceiling.
Oh,
So he reversed the first attack. Then he's able to grab Pikachu with his tail and like spin him around and throw him. That's like the opposite of something that Pikachu did to Show's Raichu in Pika and Goliath, where he spun him around and threw him with his tail. And then the very last thing that happens, Pikachu does that like rolling nair to try and finish the fight. And then Raichu, like in basically the same pose as the Raichu who lost in Pika and Goliath, right? Like right as he's waiting to get hit by Pikachu, just looking up at him like, oh god. He does like a reflect wall in this episode and blocks it.
Oh, whoa.
And Pikachu is just exhausted. He's out of moves at this point. Ash calls him back, and the fight's over. He sends out Gengar instead, and then Gengar beats Raichu. The point is...
Ash's Gengar's kind of busted.
The Gengar was kind of busted. He did get bodied by Electrode. This was a user error, by the way. Visquez could have won this match. If he saw that Raichu was struggling against Gengar, called him back, and then put Electrode out, Electrode would have bodied Gengar, and then Raichu versus Pikachu again. Raichu probably would have won. Based on how it was going. So that's trainer error, right? Can't blame him for that. But
look, not everyone can switch out your Pokemon as effectively as Cynthia.
Oh my god, people still get jump scared by Cynthia all these years later. Terrifying. Mortifying. But yeah, so like this is the coolest thing in the world to me because it's almost like a bone being thrown to the people who've actually been paying attention for the last 20 years. I mean, which is basically nobody. But we get like this moment where Raichu reverses all of the moves used against him before, and you're like, holy shit, this guy isn't just like some prop who gets sort of trotted out to play the same part in a play every single time he shows up. He's actually like, he's getting better. There's stuff happening off screen. He's improving himself, right? And I just thought that was so cool. There's something so inspiring to me about like someone like Raichu who is like literally, even though he should be extremely well known because he's directly related to Japanese Mickey Mouse, he is like one of the least popular Pokemon, appears like nowhere, gets nothing, but every time he shows up, he's like still putting in effort. He's like still trying, right? I just think it's so cool. So that kind of inspired me. I saw that episode, I was like, shit, man.
I'd say I had not seen that episode, but clearly the writer had done his homework on that episode because like that sounds awesome.
Atsuhira Tomioka is the name of the person who wrote that screenplay, and they are the same writer of Electric Shock Showdown screenplay.
Oh wait, word? Wow, they
Yeah,
got people back from back then.
yeah.
Oh, Journeys is so fucking good. I love.
To be fair, Tomioka is like a long time writer on Pokemon. He's written like 200 plus episodes of that show.
Damn.
Did not write Pika and Goliath, if you were wondering.
That's all right.
Write
Diamond and
Showdown.
Pearl and Black and White felt like they had different creative teams, which is why I think Black and White sucks.
Yeah,
But-
Black and White did suck. I'll agree with you on that. Black and White is a little irredeemable in most ways, but yeah.
Yay! I'm not the only one.
Exactly. Now, the funny thing about that is that that episode felt like setup to me, right? Because they make a big deal out of mentioning that like Surge is out on a training journey. That's why he's not around. And the Raichu that Ash fights is personally trained by Surge, and they fight to kind of a draw. It's like a no contest, basically.
Yeah.
But you think that's set up for something, right? Because it's like, oh, there's the big coronation series that's happening. And all the trainers going to be participating. So what I thought is, I was like, okay, Surge is going to come back in the finals, and we're going to get like one last big rival fight between these two to really end things off. And I was so ready for it to be the coolest thing of all time. Like, at this point, this is my Goku versus Vegeta, right? This
Yeah.
is like my Dante and Virgil. I want to see this shit real bad. But it never happened. Surge never showed back
No,
up.
no. We got Karina. That's about it.
That's true. Yeah, we did.
Wait, did we get Volkner in the? No, we didn't get Volkner.
I don't think so. Apparently, there was a Raichu who showed up, like some kind of other trainer's Raichu would show up in like screenshots during the coronation thing, but it's like not anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was disappointed by that. I was maybe even more disappointed that they didn't even do like any homage to the Surge Pikachu Raichu thing in Ash's journey back through the regions before the show ends, right? You know, the big finale where he goes back and meets all of his Pokemon again, and like, you know, Butterfree shows back up.
So, Butterfree came back! Yay!
Let's go! That Butterfree episode was another formative moment in my childhood. I'm not even talking
Let
about
me
that,
tell
right?
you were talking about like all the episodes that Raichu wasn't in. It reminds me of like every time Pikachu finds like a herd of Pikachu just like wild in the forest. There's never a Raichu among them, but there's always the
No.
big bully Pikachu.
So
Every time Ash is like, "Hey Pikachu, do you want to stay with them instead of me, your lifelong friend?"
Mm-hmm. And it's like they
Just
play
like
up
just
the
bitch
emotions.
slap him, just bitch slap Ash every time he does that. Stop giving away your Pokemon. We never saw Primeape again.
That's true. 07 must salute the fallen comrades. Primeape, Butterfree, Bayleaf, Charizard.
Poor Charizard.
Yeah. Oof. It's funny you should bring that up though, actually, because this is the very last stop on the Raichu history train from the anime. Because the clickbait episode you were talking about before was next, where Go catches a Pikachu, and she takes him back to her herd of Pikachu. And what they're doing there, they're like using their tails to mine out Thunderstones, and like they're like excitedly turning into Raichus.
That sounds super dangerous.
I mean, honestly, yeah, it probably is. I don't know if those things are explosive, but it does sound a little dangerous.
I mean, but also like if you're mining it and you touch it, like, well, I guess it's like that's the like idea is like once you like hit it, boom. But
Well,
they're one use only though, right? I mean, I feel like
I think
another
so.
Pokemon should be mining them.
Yeah, I think they are one use only, right? It's like this this like weird cultural thing where it's like, oh man, I got my Thunderstone, let's go.
There
Which
was
is kinda
a
funny.
did you ever read the Pokemon manga, the Electric Tail of Pikachu?
Yeah, I read I think through to Gold and Silver and then stopped, and my memory of it is super hazy because it's been
Oh
like
no
a
no
decade and a half.
not Adventures. It was the one before Adventures. It was like
Oh,
a more like serious kind of art style.
well, I thought okay, I'm trying to think right now because yeah, I'm remembering like the manga that everyone would talk about, like the edgy stuff happened in where like
Yeah, I mean,
happened stuff. I did
Adventures,
read that one.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
I don't know that I read the other one. No.
Okay, they do a chapter where there's a like a town where I guess like the family leader gets an Eevee and they have to choose like which stone to give it, and so they're presented like this really pristine box with these like really fancy stones, and Misty's like talking to the kid, and she's like, "Oh man, these stones are perfect. If you get a bad stone, it can fuck up your evolution." And I'm just thinking like, what does that mean? Like it just doesn't evolve, or like what? Like, and they never bring it up again. And I'm like, God, No, I want to know more.
Yeah, like what does that mean? Oh god, that's terrifying. Like imagine you're playing like Pokemon like a Shin Megami Tensei. You have like fusion accidents, but in evolution form. I don't even want to think about that.
Yo, that's-
Pokemon Infinite Fusions. I'm giving you free ideas, guys. Come on.
there we go.
Where's the fusion accidents? This is gonna turn into half dittos. Now, like so it's really interesting. But that episode is where they also did clickbait because they have like a scene where Go's Pikachu is chasing Ash's Pikachu around with a Thunderstone. Like, here, don't you want it? And he's like, no, I'll keep that shit away from me. So
it's toxic. It's toxic.
It's toxic. They run behind a rock, and then you see a Raichu jump out over the rock, and they're like, "Oh my god, did Ash's Pikachu evolve?" And then the clickbait articles everywhere.
Yep, like instantly. It's like right after the My Hero Academia spoilers, Pikachu clickbait.
Yep, yeah. Will Pikachu evolve is like one of the clickbaits they kept trotting out over the course of the series. Half the time it was an excuse to do that during the rival rematch episodes. This time they just kind of did it. They just kind of did it. It's like whatever.
Mwah.
I guess we missed it in the Destination Coronation, so we had to squeeze it in somewhere in Journey. But so no, that doesn't actually happen. Of course, Ash's Pikachu doesn't evolve. But yeah.
I was gonna say it makes sense for Go to get the Raichu since he's just like the collecting master.
Do you want to know what's funny? So Sho's motivation in Pika and Goliath was that he wanted Ash's Pikachu because he wanted to make a set. Because he had a Pichu and a Raichu already, but he wanted a Pikachu. So Sho wanted to make a living dex, basically. And Ash and everyone else act like it's really weird. They're like who treats animals that? Like, what's wrong with you? But now, like, Go comes in several seasons later, and that's literally his objective, and everyone's like, yeah, you get him, Go.
It's like how many pigeons did you catch? I don't know.
I just think it's really funny. Like that has come around now. But yeah,
we missed out on Ash catching 30 Paldean Tauros.
I can't believe this. Oh my gosh, that episode still never did air, did it? Oh my god.
It did finally air. They finally removed the gun. They had to use that Yu-Gi-Oh tech to edit out the gun.
Yu-Gi-Oh tech. Yeah, the finger guns.
The finger guns.
Oh, that's my favorite. I love that. But yeah, so like that's I think that's basically it. Like that last episode with Go's Raichu. I mean, Go's Raichu exists as like a character for a little bit, but like all she does is just hand out berries. Never participates in anything or does anything special. So.
Well, I mean, you got Grookey on the shoulder after Sobble grew up, so. Did you need anyone else? I mean, yeah.
It's the problem with giving Go a motivation of I'm going to catch all of them is that every Pokemon he has who might make more than one appearance needs to be boiled down to like one single personality trait, and that's all we're going to do with them.
Go. We're on a time limit here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that's basically that for like the whole history of the thing, and yeah, I remember at some point, like in 2020, after I saw that Coronation episode, I got inspired again, and I was like, shit. I had like health thing hit me in late 2020, and it got difficult coming back after that. But noticing that Raichu Day was coming up, I was like, oh yeah, this is like a day I use as an excuse to try new creative things. I did a mod for Pokepark that replaced Pikachu with Raichu.
Whoa!
It was kind of fun. Yeah, I took the groundwork from somebody else on YouTube, and they were nice enough to give the mod to me. But I thought like 3 days before Raichu Day happened, I was like, you know what? Like, what if I just like took this into Brawlbox and like tried to fix these animations a little bit? Right? I'd never animated anything before in my life. I have no experience with any of this, but I was like, you know what? It's for Raichu Day. Let's see what we've got. I like. Somehow sunk like 70 something hours in those 3 days just trying to get all of the animations ready for Raichu Day. It was never gonna happen, and it definitely didn't work exactly as I wanted it to, but I came closer than I thought, and I even snuck a few custom animations in there. They weren't good in particular, but you know, they were things that I had to learn and try, and considering I had to use Brawlbox, looking back on that now, I still wonder how the hell I even did that. Brawlbox being like a proprietary like kind of model and animation editing software, but it's really scuffed. Specifically only for like Wii stuff. It was used for like Smash Brawl modding.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Really scuffed. Like the keyframes and stuff were wild.
Oh,
you
geez.
couldn't like go back and forth. It was like no, everything was like linear.
I know how important keyframes are.
It was scary, yeah. But long story short, you know, that happened and I felt good about that. But like a year later or so, I saw some Twitter advertisements for a Melee mod, Smash Melee mod, called Beyond Melee, which advertised that they were putting in like 5 new characters, which was like Faye from Star Fox 2, which is a very cool pick, Shadow Mewtwo from Pokken, Wolf from like Brawlin' Onwards, and Skull Kid from obviously Majora's Mask.
Okay, all right.
And the last one was Raichu.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh shit. The thing is that like Raichu was really scuffed in the initial build of that game. I played it and I was like, these animations are really tough. I wish I could show them, but they were definitely a little bit, obviously made by like half of the animations were just on Pikachu skeleton, and the other like couple that weren't were very weird.
Gotcha.
So I was like, I did this thing in Brawlbox once, right? Like I mocked up using the model that I had from Poke Park an idle stance, like just a replacement for the idle stance, that I thought looked cool. And I put it in the BM Discord, and I was like, oh yeah, I just thought I'd share this. And eventually, a lot of people told me like, oh, it's so good. So eventually, I got a DM from Janther, who was the lead on for Raichu's character on BM, and he gave me the best advice I've ever received, which is it's not the melee rig, but it shows you know how to animate a rat. I'm honored.
Yo, that's high praise. That's high praise in my book.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. So, he was like, hey, do you want to, like, actually do this? I'm like, what do you mean do this? Like, well, we wanted to reanimate, like, fix up Raichu stuff, so, if you wanted to actually come on for this. So, yeah, I jumped into the deep end with, like, no experience.
Hey, that's what you gotta do.
I got Maya after trying Blender for a little while, and got comfortable animating in that, and eventually, all told, in the next like 4 or 5 months, I did like an animation a day, and it's like over 100, I think, animations for Raichu that I ended up doing by the end of that. And God help us, we put Raichu's in Melee. There's a trailer you can go see, and I even did a Raichu Direct, which is something that I have always wanted to do. I got to play Sakurai for like 20 minutes and do a Direct where I went over all of the moves and the references from the anime that I used, and all of the design stuff that went into it, and all that good stuff. So
good
that's
format.
on YouTube too.
It's a good format.
It's a great format. I love the Direct format. Sakurai's a genius for pioneering that one. So I had to steal it.
His YouTube channel is great. Like sometimes I just put it on in the background, and I don't always understand it, but sometimes it feels smart. It feels smart to listen to.
A lot of his game design stuff is great, and I've definitely liked a lot of the mini lessons he does on character animation and stuff, because that's, like I said, it was very much like learn as I go kind of thing. So a lot of like the quality of the animations that I've done on Raichu are like, some of them are a lot better than others. It's because I did some of them later and some of them earlier. I had to even do a second draft of the idle stance because it was the first thing I worked on. I'm like, this is not up to my quality standards anymore. I'm just gonna redo it. And well, I have a bad feeling that's gonna happen to everything eventually.
Your first draft is sometimes the baby where you have to like, all right, I can't, I just gotta put something out.
Yeah.
Boom. And then once you look at it for a while, then you're like, okay, I can do better.
That is exactly it. Yeah, that's like precisely what I was feeling. Every time I go back and I look at the some of the attack animations and stuff, I'm like, we could do better than that. But then I remind myself that I still have like when I say that I did 100+ animations on Raichu, there are let me just check here. I have the program up still. There are 300. I mean, several of those are copies, but like there's like probably around 200 unique animations for characters in Melee. So I'm like probably 70% of the way done now with Raichu. I still have like 30% to go. It's been years. Part of that is me burning out after Demo 2 released, and I need to just get myself back on that animating horse because I haven't animated in a while. But still, that definitely happened. But yeah, that's been my experience with the sort of the Beyond Melee aspect of things.
Cool. So cool.
I guess I realize I've jumped around a little bit, but I'm going to give you a chance to actually ask a question.
No. I mean, I have been listening intently, and I have been having the best time. Like, this is so much fun.
I'm glad.
This is why I love bringing people on here and talking about stuff, because I'm just like, I get to look into another world of just something that I usually probably either don't know or don't know that much about, or if I do know, I'm going to get something new out of it. Always do.
That is definitely what's cool about this show, honestly. Even from the previous episodes that I watched, even about stuff that I already kind of knew about, I was like, oh wow, there's like angles to this I haven't seen before.
Raichu in the card game. Have you played Pokemon TCG?
Yes. Yeah, I have. So I did. I played like. Well, I mean, as a kid, obviously, I was obsessed with it. I had a lot of TCG cards, and I played the Game Boy Color game.
Game Boy
Religiously
Color
'cause it
game. Yeah,
was
let's go.
sick. Yeah. Oh, it is so refreshing talking to somebody from my age group.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I mean, we're old timers. I mean, VTubers over 30. We got our canes and our crooked backs and everything. But
Yeah, that's true. I've already got my heart pills and shit. Yeah. So though that game's amazing. But as time kind of went on, I fell out of the TCG. But
I
came
fell
back
out
into
so
it.
hard. I came back in X and Y for a bit, but then I left again in Sun and Moon. I just recently came back, like right when the Paldean stuff started to hit.
Okay, yeah. I might need to give it a second chance now, but like there was a period where I was in law school, I think it was 2016-ish. That's kind of when I came back to TCG, but I used the online application.
Yes.
Which, yeah, this is a time before Magic Arena and a time before Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. So Pokemon had like the online TCG application at the time.
It was a good one. They used it for tournaments.
It was great. Like it functioned great. It had a lot of good features. It was like fun slot machine stuff for wheel things for ranked play or whatever. And the best feature, you could trade cards with people.
Man, I miss that app so much.
TCG. Oh baby, I got a Mewtwo GX or some kind.
Yeah.
With like a rare art, I think. So everybody was willing to trade anything I wanted for it. I traded like that Mewtwo GX for like several Raichu GXs. And like a couple of cool things. I was like, yes, I can make a deck around it. So yeah, that happened. I did use that. Fun fact. One fun fact, I guess. There's a comment on that Raichu Direct video, where I think somebody says like the amount of care put into this is insane. There's a frame of a move that's a reference to a card, which I thought was a really funny sentence. And he's right. Do you know? Oh god, there was a card for Raichu from the Sinnoh period. Volkner's Raichu had like some iconic kind of art that I just see posted everywhere for this character now. Let me see if I'll at least like get it.
I'll look it up here on my end. Let me see. Raichu TCG. Oh, okay. Yeah, that little like
that like lean forward pose where he's kind of running.
Yeah, wow, that's actually really good art. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really dynamic pose. I love that Raichu pose. So I of course I had to sneak it into BM. It's the first frame of his dash attack, and the first frame of his dash is this pose.
Yo.
So
that's sick.
Yeah, I pulled from everything making the BM moveset. You will never see a more complete love letter to Raichu than that moveset. It's like the card game's in there, the games are in there, the show of course is heavily featured in there. And there's even some unique stuff. So it's all over the place. But I love the number one thing I love about the TCG to me is the art, I think, right? Like even more so than playing the game itself. The artists are so amazing.
That's why cards are going for like $600 nowadays. Like the full art ones. Like it's getting nuts. It's getting nuts apparently.
That's scary. Yeah, it's cool, but like damn. Yeah, you can see why, right? Like some of the cards have very goofy art. I remember there was the art that would like they just took little figurines of the Pokemon and put them in nature and then photographed them.
Oh my god, yeah, I remember those.
Or like a really bad looking art that's kind of like wild on purpose,
all right, so some of the really bad art, have you ever played Pokemon TCG 2?
TCG, for Game Boy Color, the sequel that never came out here. I haven't actually played it myself, but I've seen it played several times.
It's got some really bad art cards. I love every one of them. Like it's like looking into, it's like opening a door in an MC Escher room and seeing just something completely different. It's like, oh wow, that's what's up this staircase. Well, let's try another one.
Yep, exactly. It's even better, I think, because it's the bad artwork cards and it's on the Game Boy Color, so it's like crunched to all hell. You can barely even tell what anything is.
Some of those Team Rocket cards do not like move over well. It's like, all right, we couldn't mix purple, yellow, orange, green, and gray, so the background's just all yellow.
Oh god.
We just gave up halfway.
Oh my god, that's definitely worrying. Yeah, let me see here. Oh, that's right. I guess I another slight fun fact about that. There was almost a Raichu amiibo. We were very
Really?
close.
Oh man, you know what? That would be awesome if there was just like a line of like Pichu, Pikachu, Raichu, just like a little like 3-pack. That would have been awesome.
I'd be game for that. I think a lot of people, I like to think there's a market, but like for Pichu and Pikachu, sure, but Raichu is always the odd one out, as you know. So the thing is though that I got contacted by somebody who did custom stuff for like Smash stuff. Like they do like custom merch for different Smash things, and they would hand them
Yeah.
out at events, right? And they contacted me because they're like, hey, would you be interested in like some Beyond Melee merch? Specifically, like, would you be interested in like a Raichu amiibo? And I was like, oh,
I
this is merch I want.
shut up and take my money.
Exactly, yeah. So I used the model that we used in game, which is a little bit scuffed, so I really had to like sand down a lot of the details because this model is like I don't know who rigged this model, but let's just say that my nickname in the Raichu character Discord for Beyond Melee was the Rairopractor because I had to
so
snap his bones into place to even animate this guy at all.
so much spine, so much spine.
Yeah, the rigging definitely left a lot to be desired, but I don't rig. I've tried a little bit. It's extremely difficult. So in the absence of that, I just had to animate around it. So this is something I learned how to deal with. But for the pose for the model, obviously, it's like, if you're gonna just print the model, it has to actually look good. So I had to actually kind of re-rig the model to smooth out some edges, at least in the one pose I put him in. And yeah, so we got a basic blueprint of that. There's like a 3D printed version, a few 3D printed versions of the Raichu amiibo that exist, but they never got made to final production. I think the person who was helping me out with that just I wish I had a better end to this story. They just kind of vanished. I don't know where they went.
There's always a story behind that, and you never know if it's like they just kind of like burnt out and just kind of like quit and just dropped off, or they were found by someone in like a cartel and are now being made to make a whole bunch of 3D printed knockoff Disney characters.
Yeah, it's like, did they get sent to jail for consumer fraud, or did they just not feel like making things anymore?
The Nintendo ninjas finally got him.
Damn. I guess it was only a matter of time.
It's all right. The Viz ninjas will one day come after us.
Viz ninjas. I think about that every day. I'm like, oh man, I am infringing all over the place right now.
I either want to be the villain that gets taken down or the hero that gets it brought back. I'm willing to take this gamble.
I respect the hustle. Chat, we stand united, right? All the ham tubers.
All the ham tubers stand
united.
united.
We're either going down or we're bringing Hamtaro back. There's only two options. If they want to take us down, they got to prove they're using the IP still. Checkmate.
Will they ever? That's a good question. I have no idea.
At the rate we're going, it's getting a little bit hard to tell.
I'm hoping for a Discotheque Blu-ray collection here soon. If they can get the rights to Monster Rancher, they can get the rights to Hamtaro.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, all sorts of weird shit's coming back. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties is getting a Steam remaster. Surely we could get...
No one asked for that! Ah! Why is it always can we instead of should we when it comes to this?
Yeah, they always focused on whether or not they could, and they never thought about if they should. Science has definitely gone awry with bringing modern, remastered footage of Plumbers Don't Wear Ties to Steam stores near you. But I don't know what's worse, the fact that it exists or the fact that I kind of want to play it.
I mean, yeah, I do the same. I own Night Trap on the Switch, so yeah, I'm part of the problem. I'm part of it.
Night Trap arguably was much more of a game. I guess it depends on what they're going to charge for that, right?
I
If they
still
try to
have
charge me $20 for Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, I don't know, man.
They're gonna charge you 40.
I do not consider myself a plumber's enthusiast. I don't know that I'd go that far. Oh my god. But yeah, I guess in terms of like what might be next for Raichu, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, like
Pokemon Stadium 3, come on.
I had a very hopeful ending to like because I did my Raichu Day presentation thing on the 26th on my channel, and Pokemon Day was the next day on the 27th. And I was like, I'm very, I'm tepidly hopeful. I'm like, whatever they announce, they're gonna announce something probably that's gonna be decently big. Take a shot if you see Raichu. You don't. But it's probably not happening. And I acknowledge in that talk that I don't think the future looks particularly bright for this character, because there's not been a lot of real Raichu stuff that's happened since something like Destination Coronation in the anime. That was 4 years ago. There's not like a resurgence for this character of any kind, I don't think. And now we have a modern fan base where people are divided over Alolan Raichu and regular Raichu, even among the people who like this character. And it's just kind of a mess, honestly. He's not in Pokemon Cafe Mix yet, not in Unite, not in a lot of the modern things they're doing, except for Masters EX, which again is just like, okay, there's a lot of Pokemon there,
There's a lot of PNGs we can sell to people.
Basically, yeah, Lapras fans sound off and etc. So yeah. So yeah, I don't necessarily see big things for this character. I would love to see more. I mean, obviously, what I want to see is we have the final new Pokemon anime is out now, right? Well, not final new, but like the newest one.
Yeah, Horizons.
What is it called again? Horizons, that's the one, yeah. I really like Horizons, by the way. I don't know if surely that's not a controversial take, but I think Horizons, at least what I've seen of it so far, has been really charming. I like the more serialized take on a Pokemon show. I think it finally suits their strengths a bit more than Problem of the Day for the last God knows how many years they've been through. But there's a character in Horizons, Captain Pikachu, because
I love Captain Pikachu.
we need to have Pikachu. I felt so cynical when I first saw that character. I was like, wow, we got rid of Ash, but we just can't get rid of this yellow rat. He's got to be everywhere. But Captain Pikachu is so cool.
It's so cool. I like the hat, and I'm just like,
the hat.
You sold me. You sold me.
And his mannerisms, like if you ever watch one of his battles, like holy shit. I've said this before, and I swear it's not just me being biased, but Captain Pikachu is an honorary Raichu to me, because he fights using basically only physical attacks.
Yeah, he does. It's so like it's entirely different
he's like really
concept.
Aggro. Yeah, I love it. I'm like, this guy was designed to be a Raichu. We are getting messed with. But to that end, that is the Chat can't see that. I was gonna say. So basically, I have an outfit that I got helped with by one of my friends who was a modeler. We made one extra outfit for Raichu and Beyond Melee after Horizons came out in 2023. There is a Captain Raichu now.
Yes.
We gave him the hat. I've got
Let's
him in
go.
clothes.
All right, I like it.
Like I'll just for your posterity. Stream can't see it, but yes, know that it exists. Chat. It's quite cool, but I still have to get updates for Beyond Melee out, and that's the difficult thing right now, because our development is a little paralyzed, as with fan projects, people move around a lot, and not everyone is always working on the thing, and people can be hard to get a hold of, and some people don't even do it anymore at all if you wait too long. So it's been kind of a thing, but we still have enough people to move things forward. We just need to actually get it together. But what I see, what I want to see, what I don't think I will see, but what I want to see for Raichu is more of, I want them to lean back into that rival direction for Pikachu. I think these characters were designed for each other to be foils, or sort of like play off of each other really well. I just kind of want to see them bring it back. I don't know why it always gets dropped so quickly, I guess is my thing.
I think part of it is the initial design. If I recall, I don't know if this is like one of those like, hey, internet rumor, this is true, but like Clefairy was originally supposed to be like the main like icon, so that's why Clefable looks a lot more like Clefairy, and why Raichu looks so much different than Pikachu.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't actually really think about that before, but yeah, I guess Clefable and Clefairy do look really similar, and we've had kind of a reverse process with Raichu, where if you look at him in Electric Shock Showdown versus him in Destination Coronation, the Raichu in the most recent Journeys episode is like a lot smaller, like he's a lot more compact. He like stands on his tippy toes to be bigger.
Squishy.
Yeah.
We got rid of Fat Pikachu, and now we've got Small Raichu.
Basically, yeah, it's like he's a lot more Pikachu-like Raichu, basically, because they keep trying to figure out what magic formula is gonna make people like this creature.
Hey, Pokemon Z, give us a Mega Raichu. Come on, you know you want
see,
to.
right. That's a perfect thing to cap out on, actually, because yeah, A to Z did get announced, and they're bringing back Megas. And I'll tell you this right now, okay? I have what I want to see, and I have a prediction. What I want to see is Mega Raichu, because I think it'd be cool. Unlike Alolan Raichu or like Gorochu, if they did that, it's not gonna take attention away and just like introduce a new Pokemon that's just gonna make Raichu fight more for his screen time. A Mega form is still that Pokemon. It's just a form of them, right? They transform for a temporary period. So I think that's fine. I am fine with Mega Evolution. Give me your Mega Raichu. I want to see what they do with it. Let me tell you what I think is gonna happen. Now let me tell you what's probably gonna.
No. The hope crashes down like do a burning of flame.
I am going to laugh my ass off when they introduce Mega Pikachu. It's gonna be the funniest shit imagine.
Oh my god, you're not wrong.
Like everybody thought they would do it back when Megas first got introduced. They're like, oh man, here comes Mega Pikachu. But they didn't do it for either. Maybe they know. Like maybe they know that's bad optics at a certain point. So they just had to restrain themselves.
To a degree. They doubled down on the Z moves. Like Pikachu got his own Z move along with the electric Z move, along with the normal Z move that he could do.
Hey, Raichu got a unique Z move. Alolan Raichu.
Yeah.
He was the new hotness, so you know. But yeah, now Alolan Raichu just like doesn't even show up in anything anymore, so I don't think that he's coming back. You know? But he has to now. I don't know. Alolan Raichu's in even a weirder spot than Raichu is right now. Like I feel bad for Alolan fans. Because it's like, man, the least popular Pokemon and the Alolan variant. Sorry, buddy.
Everything was left on the island. We don't even get to like make Alolan Raichu anymore. Just gotta catch him on Pokemon Go and then transfer him over.
Yeah, Pokemon Go, it's like the last bastion of safety for a lot of like the little niche things that we might enjoy. Did you know that all of the Hat Pikachus can evolve in Pokemon Go? Like
not all of them. I have one that
really?
can't. I have one that can't. I will send it to you on Discord whenever I can find it.
That is
because
so
guess what? I have a whole bunch of them that have the hat.
That is really funny actually, because like of the Pikachu who can evolve, Ash Hat Pikachu can evolve in Go.
Yes.
And Detective Pikachu can evolve. Which is so funny because technically that means that Detective Raichu exists in an official Pokemon game. But yeah, we're never gonna see that in anything outside of Go.
Ever.
But like the hats and the models exist in Go, but like in Sword and Shield, you can't evolve Ash Hat Pikachu. The models exist. I don't understand.
It never makes any sense. Like,
It is on purpose at a certain point, but I think that's like the core appeal of Raichu to me, to a certain degree, right? It's like he's the guy that people should like, that should be doing better than he is, but for some reason life just keeps dunking on him over and over again in increasingly humorous ways. But he's still here, and the fans are still like keeping the spirit of this character alive through really like evocative artwork, and like every day on Twitter I see new artwork for this character. You know, like for Raichu Day, the thing I mentioned, where it's like, oh, the Twitter artists like do this thing for like one day. I went and gathered every picture made specifically for that Raichu Day. There were over 110.
Oh, nice.
Just for that. Like, people took time out of their day to draw for this character for that day, and I just think that's so cool, right? So, you know, this character means a little bit to me now, I guess. Didn't used to before, but now it, like, represents, me, like, picking up new skills, trying new things, you know, all that good shit, basically, right? That's the point of Raichu Day. It's about the progress, right? Just like Surge, after 20-something years, learned how to block the stupid tail move. You too, at home, chat, can make progress in your own lives after 20-something years. Never too late.
There we go. All right. If anyone in the chat has a question, go ahead and bounce it onto us. If it's about Pokemon, if it's about Raichu, just go ahead and give us an ask, and we will go ahead and do our best to answer.
Yep, anything you want. That means you too, Enigma. I see you over there. I won't be giving you any eggs today, though. No, sir.
Okay, I've got it. It's the Pikachu with the One Piece hat.
With the straw hat or whatever?
Yep, Straw Hat Pikachu will not evolve into a Raichu.
Really? I swear I've seen that. Am I going crazy?
I've got a screenshot. I'll send it to you in a little bit.
You're right. Oh my god, you're right. You're so right. It even has like a specific thing that says they can't evolve. That is so funny.
I don't know why it was that one only, but like it always made me crazy because like I made sure to have at least like, you know, one of each, a Pikachu with this hat and a Raichu with this hat.
and now it's all ruined.
It's
Pokemon Go is normally so good about that. They've been infected by the virus. that makes them want to dunk on Raichu. Very funny.
it's the gum fruit. You can't evolve. It's
Yeah, the gum fruit. You can't swim, you can't evolve, but you can become the most popular character in existence. Yeah, it's a pretty good trade-off.
I still remember Raichu in Pokemon Stadium. Lieutenant Surge's one has Surf.
Yes.
And it totally caught me off guard when I was streaming it earlier last year.
Yeah, you didn't know. Yeah, he surfs on his tail. He was the original tail surfer. That's where Alolan Raichu got it from.
Man.
Is that animation from Stadium? It kicks ass.
It kicks ass. It kicked my ass. Which Raichu is the most? Oh, hey, Cozy. Hi.
Which Raichu is most smug? Oh, that's a good question. There have been several very smug Raichus. I think Go's Raichu was or not Go's. I think Sho's Raichu was the smuggest, the one from Pika and Goliath. Every second scene, that guy has like some kind of sinister smirk on. it's quite something. It's real good though. I love the smug phases for Raichu.
I forget, was there a Raichu in one of the Pokemon Mystery Dungeons? That was kind of like the rival team.
No, see, that would make too much. This makes too much sense. we have to dial back the things that make sense. No, Raichu never appeared as a named character in any Mystery Dungeon game. The closest you could get is in Super Mystery Dungeon, where and if you haven't played Super Mystery Dungeon, you can plug your ears, I guess, for about 5 seconds. In Super Mystery Dungeon, the gimmick is the evolutions are treated like Digivolutions in that game. So, like, you have periods of the plot where you, like, evolve into your evolved form and power up for specific boss fights, which is kind of cool.
Interesting. Okay, because in the very first Mystery Dungeon, you couldn't evolve until after you beat the main story.
Yeah, all
the
evolution
post game was that. Yeah.
Which means also, like, if you go to look up, like, portraits for these games, right? All the starters have, like, a bunch of animations and a bunch of portraits that a lot of other Pokemon don't have, including the evolved forms of the starters, because you can only do it in post game. So evolved starters only have one portrait, which is their neutral expression, and they have, like, a very pared down list of sprites only for combat because of that. But in Super Mystery Dungeon, they actually had to expand the portraits for all of the evolved forms because they had a role in the story now.
Dang.
So that's the only time that's ever happened. If you want to count that as Raichu being a named character, you know, close enough, I guess, right?
Hey,
yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Other than that, in Poke Park 2, he was like a master, right? Like in Poke Park 2, you could go to Raichu and he would teach you moves. He would like train you and stuff. That is the closest he ever came to being a named character in any side game.
You really just like have them all down. I am impressed. I clap. Just
like I said, listen, I had to do a presentation for the history thing like 2 weeks ago. There were like 70 something slides in it. I did my homework. All right. I even got the fan interview with Sakurai from like an old Japanese website where they asked him why they picked Pichu instead of Raichu. And I can't, like, source this effectively, so I don't want to spread misinformation necessarily, but supposedly, Sakurai's response to this question was that Pichu did more to differentiate himself, and that he added more by being a joke character, was his impression.
I get it, but at the same time, I don't like it. But at the same time, there was an era where Pichu was like the most devastating thing online, so I have no idea what to feel.
Yeah, and that's kind of the era that Melee was made in, right? It's like Gen 2 had just come out and Pichu, like, yeah, Pichu was in big popularity, right? He had like the movie appearances, like those little shorts with the Pichu brothers and stuff. He had like all sorts of merchandise. Like the baby Pokemon were being pushed hardcore, right? So I get it. But it's also like, every time somebody tells me about this, I guess this is my like only the half of me that made the Raichu mod in Smash Melee because I wanted to spite people. Is that people were like, oh well, like what would it add, right? Like, what do you make like a big heavy Pikachu? Like, okay, you can't do anything else. I made this mod as a counterpoint to that. Raichu has such a different like fighting style, I guess, just in general, right? Like he used the big long tail that he uses, kind of like a flail or like a sword sometimes or whatever, like a whip sword, is already like just super big and reinventing that character. If you play Beyond Melee Raichu now, he plays like a mix between a Pikachu and a Swordy, like Marth. He has tippers. Because at the like the yellow part of his tail, which is like the big like kind of polearm axe looking thing, That if you hit with that, it does like extra electric damage and more knockback. If you
It
hit with
should.
the wire part of the tail, it does less. So he's
See,
like a mini spacing character, and when he gets in, he's got like a command grab game. You know, there's stuff going on. I promise.
yeah, it all makes sense too. That's super smart. Little things like that are what make like individual characters so great. Which is why I
Yeah,
like Ultimate, like having like a bajillion characters. But I would, you know, we could use some more. We could use a Raichu
yeah.
in there.
I,
I'd
I
be down.
I wanted them to lean more into the Echo Fighters concept when they introduced
Yeah,
them.
no, me too. When
I
they
would have
announced
taken
it,
less
I
new fighters and more Echo Fighters, actually.
less more Fire Emblem characters. I honestly thought that the last character wasn't going to be Sora. I thought it was going to be a Pokemon.
Really? Wow. I think a lot of people might have been under like I mean things were swirling around online. I think once Minecraft Steve made it in, like everything like tables flipped over,
Okay,
right? Like anything's possible now, right?
the people that thought Dante was going to be in there, I have to
Yep.
like ask y'all to buy my bridge.
Damn.
I'm sorry, but no, I just could not.
After Cloud and Minecraft Steve got in, Dante almost seemed reasonable. Like when you compare, like people were pulling for Master Chief, right? Like I'm like,
Look,
I mean, maybe
Doom Guy made more sense to me than
Doom
Dante.
Doom Guy in Smash would be so weird because you have to tone him down so much. But they put Kazuya in Smash and they made a trailer where he throws Kirby off a cliff.
They
Which
knew
is
what
so
they were
funny.
doing. They knew what
They
they
knew
were
what they
doing.
were doing. Yeah, I always question whether something's like too mature to make it into Smash, and then they, like whatever. I guess they make it work, right? Like Bayonetta made it in. I guess we can have like a pared down Doomslayer. Sure, why not?
Sephiroth killed everyone canonically.
They yes, Sephiroth impaled Mario. Oh, that okay. Last thing, I know we're over time at this point. But so Raichu's grab in Beyond Melee, he used to grab with his hands like Pikachu did, but I changed it so he grabs with his tail, like you see in Pika and Goliath where he pins into the rock. Because he's got that like cleft in his tail where you can kind of grab the opponent between, right?
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, this gives him more range on his grab. And the neat thing to me about that is that it let me do a lot of creative tail-based throw animations. The thing is, when I show people a screenshot of it, they think that he's like Sephiroth impaling people with his tail. Which I'm like, oh, that's extremely funny, actually. And yeah, on some of the bigger characters like Ganondorf, it does kind of look that way, just how the model clipping goes. But,
Nice.
we'll just say it makes him more hardcore, huh?
There
How
we
about
go.
that? Give him street cred.
Oh man. Well, Gemini, thank you so much for coming on. It was a blast, and thank you for like taking most of the conversation because I was not a specialty like Raichu fan. Now I'm down to clown. Like right, I want more Raichu and everything.
I'm glad to hear that. Every convert is worthwhile. No, but yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show, Zara. I really appreciate it, especially giving me a platform to ramble for an hour again.
Heck
Even though I already
yeah.
have 3 hours on my own stream doing that shit. But no, I really appreciate the bouncing post for a lot of this, right? Because I'm usually just talking to myself over stream or whatever, or to stream chat or whatever. So it's a nice breath of fresh air to get to talk some Pokemon with somebody actually from my age group.
Yeah. And we meant to actually do this back in November, but then I took my hiatus. So thanks for working around my schedule.
Of course, yeah. It ended up working out for the better, actually. If anything,
Yeah,
I
I
was
got
more
it.
prepared for this talk than I was otherwise, because I just had the thing I had to prepare for like 3 weeks ago.
Worked out good.
So,
Good.
we take those. It's divine providence.
You like that? We'll be back in 2 weeks. I can't make it a weekly show anymore because it was wearing me out. But come back in 2 weeks when we'll have a new guest. We'll talk about some more awesome things, and everyone, please look forward to that. Also, the VOD for this should be up Friday. And if you have any links like to the trailers and stuff, send them to me, and I'll make sure that they're in the description.
Can do. I'll make sure those links get to you ASAP.
All right, everyone, thank y'all so much for coming in. Y'all have a wonderful day. Bye, Q.
Bye, everyone.